Hey guys, John here at Common Sense Outdoors, and you are just in time for a cup of coffee. Oh. A couple little ash floaties, won't hurt nothing. Folgers Fresh Breaks. They're delicious. Smoking eye. A little sweetener. Put my trash away. Oh, I need a stir stick. That's hot. You're supposed to drop the stir stick in the coffee when you're done stirring it. Let me turn you around here. Brought out a bag with some gear, shirt. I went back in the woods and got one of the tripods that I had made for a different video earlier on. And let's see if I can make you stand up straight. There's the new chair. Alright. So howdy. Ooh, that's hot. Let's let that cool off some more. So, what I want to talk to you guys about is something that I've been trying to get the point across about. My point across, my opinion. You don't have to agree with it. But in numerous videos, I've made comments or tried to get my point across about something, and I want to try one more time to see if I can explain what I'm thinking in my head. It just so happens to be that 3 days ago I put a video up called Naked Castaway Discussion. It was about the new TV show that was on with Ed Stafford. And you know, a couple of people have jumped me about that. I, again, in no way, shape, or form was saying that I was better than Ed or that he did things badly. He did an excellent job, and I pointed out all the great things that he did do. There was just some things, in my opinion, that could have been done with a little more common sense. But anyway, there's one thing he said in that show that I didn't say in that video, and that's because I wanted to save it and try to figure out how to use it in this video to explain my thoughts. And that is, for some reason I think my head's getting chopped off here. Maybe it's not. There we go. Now I know it's not. So the thing he said near the end of the show was You know, he'd finally got to the point where he felt like he could sustain himself there. He had his shelter, he had his water collection, he had figured out the easiest ways for him to come up with food. He had plenty of wood. Once he reached that point near the end of the show, he said he finally felt like he did it. He could live there indefinitely. But his words were that he was past the stage of survival. And that is probably the best way I can think of to get my point across with what I want to talk about. You know, I've done a video called "What is a Survival Kit?" and I tried to explain my thoughts in that video, and I don't think it's getting across what I'm trying to say. So let me give it a try again. He's past the stage of survival. He's past the survival stage. If you're past the survival stage, that means you've reached a level of self-sustainability. If you can sustain yourself without trouble, without too much difficulty, you are no longer in survival mode. You've self-sustained. So, which ties in very nicely with what I've been trying to get my point across in the past, and that's there's absolutely nothing wrong with having a bag full of gear. I have a bag right here with a bunch of gear in it. But that bag full of gear is not a survival kit, in my opinion. It will help me survive for sure. In fact, it won't help me survive, it'll help me sustain. If I take this big bag full of gear, and this is a small bag, not a big bag, but I could put enough in this small bag to go into the wild and sustain myself. It wouldn't be a matter of survival, it would be self-sustainability. If I was to get lost while hunting and I had a rifle or a bow that I was using to hunt with, becoming lost puts me in a survival scenario. That weapon that I happen to have with me makes that survival scenario much, much easier. Therefore, it's a gun I have in a survival situation. You'll never see a video by me showing you a bug out bag for survival or a gun, best gun for survival, because if I put a bag on my back full of gear and a gun, I'm not surviving at all. I'm just going out to self-sustain off the land. Another thing is if I have the bag full of gear and I go camping or backpacking or just out playing around and I set up my camp and I hang my bag on a branch, perfect branch, it sits there just perfect right next to where I'm sleeping. Maybe I made a cot or I brought a hammock and my bag hangs right there and I can reach right in there and get it, and it's all set up cool. Now I wander off from camp, go to a creek, see if I can fish or whatever the case may be. Did I pack everything at my camp up back into that bag and take it with me? Do I have a smaller pack that I put some gear in and took with me and left my big pack and the rest of my stuff? If I have a smaller pack or a smaller kit that I took with me when I left camp, that now is my survival kit. The pack and the rest of my gear that I left at camp is just that, my gear. If I walk around in the woods with that 40-pound pack on my back all the time, every time, it's a bag full of gear. I will not have to survive with that many items and that much gear to do it with. I will have to self-sustain. It doesn't take very many small items to make a kit. The items I have in my bracelet make it a kit. The items I put on my knife kit I'm not wearing today. And like some of the very first videos I did a more knife kit. Those items are a kit. Let's say I was in a drift boat or a kayak or canoe going down a river on a 40-mile journey, and 20 miles in I got dumped out of that boat and lost my bag full of gear. Those small kits, the stuff I have on my bootlaces, on my boot, those small kits are survival kits. Just enough to get me by and survive. Can I self-sustain off a small kit? If it has enough of the right items and I can get to a point where I can make the rest of what I need, like Ed did on the island, yes, a small kit could make it to where I could self-sustain. But if I have a big old fat kit full of gear, it's not a survival kit, because there's no survival to it. It's just self-sustainability. That's my opinion. You don't have to agree with it. But like I've said before in other videos, and I've had people say stuff to the effect of, well, I thought the more items you could put in a kit, the better. No, the right items that you can put in a kit, the better. You know, I don't put stuff into kits unless I've tested that same stuff, and then I put brand new stuff into a kit. So if I buy an item, I'll buy two or more, and I'll use one and I'll go test it, and then I'll take a brand new one and I'll put it in that kit, so that when I do have to ever get into it, it's right there, brand new, ready to go. Another thing, in my opinion, the way I look at a survival kit is a lot like a fire extinguisher behind a box with glass. You know, you break the glass in case of an emergency to get to that fire extinguisher or that fire axe or whatever. Break glass in case of emergency. It's there in case you need it. Are you going to carry the fire extinguisher around with you all the time? No, but you need it there just in case. You know, back to if I fall out of that boat of any kind on the river. I'm 20 miles downriver from anything, and I lose my bag full of gear. Do I have a knife kit on my side attached to my belt where it's not going anywhere? Do I have a survival bracelet? Do I have stuff in my boots, in my bootlaces, and an backup fire kit in my boots? What do I have that then becomes a survival kit? Doesn't take a whole lot of items to be considered a survival kit, and the amount of items depends greatly on each person's individual skills. The higher your skills are, the lower items you have to survive. The lower your skills are, the more items you have to comfortably survive, or to survive, period. So that's my thoughts. I hope it makes sense. I don't want to argue with anybody about it. I'm not trying to pick fights. I just it kind of irritates me a little bit to see like bug out bag and survival in the same sentence, because they're completely different things. So that's my 2 cents. Comment box is down below if you want to let me know what you think about it. Like I said, I'm not trying to argue with anybody about it. If you don't agree with me, that's fine. It's just how I feel. It's my opinion. And like I said, I'm not knocking gear at all. It's perfectly fine to have a big old bag of gear. I have all kinds of gear and bags. But that doesn't mean I don't have small survival kits to back up that gear. Because I'll guarantee you that gear will get left at some point. You know, when you're driving up the road and that herd of elk runs across the road in front of you, and you jump out and grab your bow and take off trying to get on them, you're going to grab your backpack full of gear, or are you going to hope you have something already strapped to you? I'm going to have something strapped to me because I've done it before. I've left all that gear, including flashlight, in the truck and had to find my way back to the truck in the dark after trying to get on a herd elk. That's not fun. Have something with you, on you, all the time, even if you have a bag of gear. Alright guys, thanks for watching. Love to hear your comments, likes. Thank you for your support. See you in the next video.